All right, we are live. Let me copy this. Let's see, and put it in the Facebook group. Oops. All right, just a second, guys. My keyboard is behind my microphone, so it's hard to get to. All right, I'm going to go share this in the group just to let everyone know that we are live. I know it has been a month since I have done a Monday night, so I'm kind of giving everyone a little bit of time to join as well. All right, here we go. Okay. So there are 4 of you watching, so let yourself be known. Hey, Ashley. Ashley, let herself be known. She's in the chat. It's good to see you. Next week, I might not have a live because it is 4th of July. So I probably will end up canceling just for that week. I'm going to try to get a guest for the following week. I really don't know who yet, but I will try to get a guest to be on. We haven't had Dana on for a while, so I might see if she can do a live with me. We have not seen her lately, so I'm going to see if I can get her on. Hello, Amy and Michelle. Good to see you guys. Okay, so we are going to just jump right into it. If any of you don't follow me on Facebook, my personal account, I had a lovely trip to Ireland. I made it over the Atlantic Ocean and I am glad to be home though. I do love America. It was nice seeing a different culture, a different country, but I am glad to be back in America. I do love my country. I do love my state. I do love living here. I love my home. I love my family. So it was a nice break, but it's good to be back. But it was great visiting with our friends over there. We have not been able to see them since COVID hit. So they they will not take the jab. So they are stuck there for now because Biden has not opened up the US to the unjabbed that are not citizens. So thankfully for me though, no restrictions, no masks, nothing. It was great going into Chicago Airport, O'Hare, and no one was wearing, well, a few people, not many. The majority of the people, 95% of the people were not wearing masks. Barely anyone on the plane, no restrictions in Ireland. And then when I came to fly back, where it says that you have to do the pre-boarding for flying back, if you're a non-citizen, you have to upload vaccination papers. And I believe, no, that's it for now because Biden just got rid of the negative COVID test. But since I was a citizen, I just clicked I am a citizen and I didn't have to upload any documents. So I was able to fly there, no problem, fly back, no problem, being maskless and non-jabbed. So, but let's go into my topic for tonight. I'm glad that you guys were able to make it. Just a second. I'm glad that you guys were able to make it. And I'm going to go into, let's see. You know, I want to talk about just classiness in a classless society. The scourge of feminism and liberalism is on the rise, and also the rise of effeminate men. Throughout my life, I've always been drawn to movies that had classy women portrayed, such as, you know, Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, Maureen O'Hara. These all stick out as classy women in my mind. One of my favorites is Anna Green Gables. I see myself in her so much. She's always the girl who loves the romantic fairy tales and aspires to be the classy maiden in distress, but she fails often. Even in that, though, she dresses in such beautiful clothing and she really tries taming her tongue, although she doesn't always succeed. So what makes a classy woman, what makes classy woman? Many things come to mind when I think of class, and we'll go over these things tonight. We'll touch on some things that a lot of women don't necessarily agree with in the world, but I think the Bible's pretty clear when it comes to my beliefs on these subjects. So I think one of the things that kind of tipped me off to this subject was just this past week, as many of you know, Roe versus Wade was overturned. And I believe it was a great victory for America, mainly because, number one, I believe in states' rights. I believe that our nation was founded on the principles for a functioning dichotomy. And one of the reasons that they put states' rights into practice was to keep the government from becoming too big, from taking all the power from the people. So this, when it was passed, when Roe versus Wade was passed, it was unconstitutional when they passed it. You had a board of Supreme Court justices that were deciding, who are unelected officials, by the way. They are put into place by presidents. They were deciding the fate for all 50 states, which is not how our government was designed. Our government was not designed to put so much power into the hands of just a handful of people. So they did overturn that this week, and they put the power back into elected officials' hands, which I believe is the way it should be. So now each state has the opportunity to outlaw abortion if they would like. So as this has come to fruition, it was released a few months ago that this was probably going to happen, which that's never happened before, of course. But I think because it was so controversial, it was released. And as it has come, now we're seeing protests. We're seeing women just rabid that in some states abortion will now be illegal. I believe my husband was telling me there were some trigger laws in place as well. So as soon as the abortion laws, as soon as it was overturned, it triggered the law that outlawed abortion. Missouri was the first state to outlaw abortion. Many have in place what's called a heartbeat bill, which is when the heartbeat is detected, you can know you cannot get an abortion after that. But I've seen just the panic among liberal women, among feminist women, and just seeing the protests and the type of women that are protesting. Most of them are very vile, not classy at all. You don't see many classy women out there protesting this. And so that's kind of what made me think of this. Just we've sunk so low where we come. I would love to live in the era of, Grace Kelly and Audrey Hepburn. There's a really pretty movie that I like watching called, I believe, Roman Holiday, with Audrey Hepburn. And she's just so graceful and she dresses so nice. And we've come from that to what we're seeing today. So it just kind of put this topic into my head. So that's why I decided to, Celine, very belligerent. You're right, very belligerent. Oh, I didn't know, Michelle. That's tough. She said Utah's trigger law was already suspended. Now, the one thing about obviously living in Illinois, Pritzker's already, which I'm hoping he gets voted out this November. We can always hope. I am voting in the primaries tomorrow because I do want the right person running against him. There's a very conservative man. Could he win? God's bigger, I guess. So maybe he can answer the prayers of all of us that are praying. But the man that is running for the Republicans that I want to win is very, very pro-life. But Pritzker, the one who's in there now, has already said Illinois is going to be a safe haven for those who want abortions, and they're going to further increase their abortion clinics here to compensate for all the ones coming in from probably Indiana, probably Iowa, all the red states surrounding us, which is just woe to Illinois, I say. But hey, Chanello, it's been a while since I did a live show on a Monday night. So, and hey, Beth, how are you? Oh, thanks. My hair is up today because I was cleaning all day. So, but yeah, when I think of a classy woman, I often think of appearance. I mentioned Audrey Hepburn and Grace Kelly, and there are some verses about appearance in the Bible. In 1 Timothy 2:9-10, it says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array, but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. And then, of course, the famous verse that women don't like going to, Deuteronomy 22:5, that the woman should not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall put a man on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. 1 Peter 3:1-6. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, They also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Whose adorning, let it not be the outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold or of putting on apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. And I really like those verses. And First Peter, that's more about behavior, which we'll delve into also. But let's talk about appearance right now. Obviously, I believe in dressing modestly, but do you know that even if you dress modestly, it can be frumpy or disheveled or sloppy, which is, I think, the opposite of being classy. So I think we should try to attain a classy appearance for living life as well. Obviously, there's the dress versus pants debate, right? And my husband has gone through this. He just went through this recently. He was talking about shorts on men. Back in the 70s, they had very, very, very short shorts on men. And all the IFR preachers started preaching against shorts. Shorts are, evil. Don't wear shorts. You're showing nakedness, because back then they kind of were showing nakedness. They were like little booty shorts, even on guys, if you look back at the basketball teams of the day. And so they were showing their thigh. Well, like my husband said, shorts in and of themselves were not inherently sinful. It's not an item itself, like shorts, is not sinful. It was what you were doing. It was how the shorts were, if they were showing off nakedness. And I believe the same thing with pants. Some can use the argument, well, they're not with that which pertaineth to a man, because you can go into the women's section and they're designed for women. But I believe with pants, then you are probably, women's pants are cut a little bit differently, unless they're like men's skinny jeans. They're cut a little differently than men, and they're cut in a way to accentuate different areas of your body. Same thing with leggings. I've seen some leggings that are, I think, worse than jeans or worse than pants in and of itself, because they show so much. So then I believe you are violating the modesty verse. You're not being modest when you're wearing those type of clothes. So that's my standard on it. I believe that, and just because in a world where we are blurring the line between the sexes, between men and female, we're blurring that line so much that I'm going to go to the other extreme and try to be more feminine. And I believe that skirts obviously are the one distinctly feminine thing left in the world. It still bothers me, even with all these drag show and pride parades going on, to see a man in a dress. It just is unnatural. It doesn't seem right. So for me, skirts are what me and my daughters are going to wear anytime that we go out. So also, but I think that something that goes along with just, trying to live a classy lifestyle is taking care of your weight and exercise, eating well, just keeping that in check. Obviously, it's so hard once you start having kids, and you pour everything of yourself into your family and into your kids, that a lot of times we kind of put ourselves on the back burner. So I do think that you should try to remain healthy, though, or at least keep your weight in check, so that you don't start putting it on and let it get away from you. And then, you're morbidly obese and you're uncomfortable and you can't play with your kids and you can't walk very far and you can't run. That's all going to take a toll on you. So I do believe in taking care of your body so that you can do more for your family and you can do more for the Lord. I have what I call a panic weight. And so I have like a weight I live with, and then I have a panic weight. And so when I get over my panic weight, then I really focus on cutting out all the extra calories, like the Dunkin' Donut drinks and the sugary coffees. I really cut back. I don't drink soda. And those are the days too, where if you throw a day of fasting in, and now if you're nursing or pregnant, obviously you can't throw a day of fasting in, then, that's going to help you lose weight as well. And so then I'll kind of panic for a little bit, because it's my panic weight, right? And then I'll get down to where I feel, okay, I'm at a comfortable weight now. So I do think that this is something I've struggled with, though, since having children. Definitely. Since the first time I became pregnant, And I put on too much weight with my first pregnancy. I was not, and then I had 2 babies back to back. So I was not sick at all with my boys. And because I wasn't sick, when you're pregnant, you're hungrier if you're not sick. And so I put on too much weight with both of them. And then it was just fighting a battle ever since. So it is a struggle. Oh, thanks, Ashley. I hope so. I don't want to come across harsh because it's hard. I struggle with it. I've struggled with weight ever since. I did not struggle in my teens. And then I got pregnant a month after we got married. So since I've had children, I've struggled with this. So I understand that it is very, very difficult. I also can't see it. I have a nodule right now. I'm waiting for results from that on my thyroid, but I have half of a thyroid. My left side is gone. And now I've developed something on my right side. I'm thinking it's a nodule or a goiter or something. I'm waiting. My blood work was fine. I had an ultrasound this past Saturday. So I'm waiting on results of that, but it's very tough when you only have half a thyroid. And I understand the struggle. I definitely understand the struggle, but I do believe maybe everyone could have, a panic weight where once I hit this, oh no, I really need to focus on, and I think, don't deprive yourself, but just cut out the sugary things. Like I said, I cut out the sugary drinks, the sugary coffees, and just the frou-frou things in life. So I tried cutting those out. And then good hygiene. I do believe part of being classy is having good hygiene. I just went on a plane 8.5 hours to Ireland and 8.5 hours back. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that don't do good hygiene. And you always notice it on a plane because you're sitting so much closer to people than you ever would in public and very close quarters, and you really notice it. So I always try to be very, very mindful of that, and just taking care of, you want your husband to take care of himself for you. So, you take care of yourself for your husband, put on some deodorant, brush your teeth, shower, shower daily, hopefully, if you can. I know sometimes when you have little kids, that's really, really, really tough, but you'll feel so much better. I feel so much better when I'm just clean and smell good. And it's so much better going to bed nice and clean than going to bed, dirty. So I've always tried to work that in. Sometimes it's a baby wipe shower, if you're busy or you just can't get around to it, which I've gotten criticized before, but what mom on here has never taken a baby wipe shower? I would love to know. I would love to know someone that since the time that they've had kids has had a shower every single day of their life. And if you're out there, then you're a Wonder Woman, in my opinion. Yes, giving up things like bonbons. Bonbons is my favorite Irish sweet. Bonbons are not chocolate. The Irish bonbons are not chocolate. They're like a round, chewy Mento covered in powdered sugar, kind of. Like if you took off the outer coating of a Mento and only had the middle part and then rolled it in powdered sugar, that would be kind of what a bonbon tastes like. But I really like them. They're already gone. We ate them all. And then hair care. I think hair care is important for being classy. I think it's a good testimony. I've often gotten comments when I'm out with my girls. Well, actually so I had four of my girls. Allie, Lana, Kelly, and the baby. We were out Saturday and we had to run into town for something. And a guy saw me, he's passing me. He's like, 4 girls, poor dad. And I said, well, actually I have 6 girls and 2 boys. And he was like, what? And then we kept we passed him and then we passed him again and he'd make another comment. And then we passed him again and he'd make another comment. And the last comment, he was like, well, at least you're all beautiful. Okay. And I was like, okay, thank you. Yeah. I was like, yeah, we have good genetics or something. But it was just funny because people notice, when you're a mom, when you have lots of little kids and your hair is done and you look like you haven't lost your mind. I think that's a good testimony for those of us that have big families. There's a misconception that those with big families are just going crazy and just sloppy and disheveled and in leggings and never put on makeup, never do their hair, don't have good hygiene. that's not what I think of when I think of classy. So definitely I try to do my hair if I'm going to go someplace, do my makeup. And hair care can be easy, especially if you find an easy style or a classy style and stick with it. It can be really easy. A lot of times in the summer, if I take my shower at night, especially, I'll just go to bed with wet hair. And then I have really frizzy, natural curly hair if I don't do anything with it. So the next day, it literally takes me 5 minutes. I do some twist back and I throw it in a side braid with a headband. Headbands are my go-to. In my younger years, I had flowers that I would use a lot. Headbands are my go-to now. So just, find something cute, find something classy, and try sticking with it. And then also proper clothing care. I am well known for, I don't like really wrinkly stuff, but I'm not an ironer. So what I do is I throw it in the dryer and that seems to help. So if something's too wrinkled, throw it in the dryer. I know a lot of women are more strict with that than me. And they even had the spray starch and they go all out while they do their ironing. Me, not so much, but I don't like being wrinkled and frumpy and sloppy looking. So I will try to get the wrinkles out of anything that I have. I try not to wear anything with holes in it, just anything with big stains on it. That's not what I think of when I think of classy. I love watching, if you guys get curious, look up like 1950s, 1940, 1950s videos where they're kind of explaining like hygiene and clothing care and stuff to girls. I mean, girls back then were very fastidious about their clothing, and they would darn holes and make sure every button was on and lay their clothes out for the next day. Sloppiness was very, very frowned upon back then. And I think they're cute. They're cute videos to watch, and even something that your daughters could watch and kind of, learn from. So, and then, yes, Chanello, your kids always look so cute. She said, when we're out and about, I get compliments on how well dressed my kids are. They always think we're going somewhere or coming from somewhere. I'm like, nope, just hanging out. Yeah. And you'll especially get looks if you go somewhere on a Sunday after you're all dressed up, and then you go out. But even with my girls, I try to really make sure, since the time Abby was little, I try to make sure that I have their hair brushed and hair done some kind of, so it looks like they're well cared for. I think that is a really good testimony. Okay, so then number 2, I think speech when it comes to being classy. Speech shows who you are. It shows what's hidden. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And speech also sets you apart from the world. I'm listening to these women just chant and say horribly vile things as they're protesting. And I want to be as far away from that as I can. But it's not only just like vile things, but it's just the way you talk to others and the way that you represent yourself with how you talk. Do you have road rage? Are you yelling at someone as you're driving? Different things like this. And there's a lot of verses about speech. If you want to do a study, that would be a really good one with your kids, maybe doing a study on speech. Lots and lots and lots of Bible has to say about speech. Psalms 141:3 said, a watch, O Lord, before my mouth, keep the door of my lips. There's a lot of verses here about it, but I would say, speak to others, speak the way to others that you would like to be spoken to. So if you wouldn't want to be yelled at or cursed at, don't do that to other people. If you wouldn't want to be talked to angrily, try not to talk angrily to other people. So, profanity, I don't think, especially for women, and I'm just talking to women now because I don't think that, my stance on profanity. I just don't think it's a good quality for anyone, but especially women. And there used to be a time in life when, men wouldn't say anything in front of women and children, right? So men wouldn't say anything. So I definitely think that's a defining worldly quality to have. And then, even phrases that represent profanity, I don't allow uttered in my house. So that could be anything that's like, what is the word? Like a euphemism. I don't even say the words crap. That was like preached about from the pulpit when I was growing up. And I don't even like it. I don't like the words that stand in place of a bad word, you know. So I don't even like those. They're not even said in my house. But how are you with edifying words? You know, do you use your speech to edify others? Or do you use your speech to tear people down? And when I say speech, it's not only even outside in public as you're talking to people, but even, you know, in your online interactions. Are you constantly cutting others down with your words? Or are you trying to build them up? I've been reading a book by Dale Carnegie, and he talks about online interactions and how you should strive to, in any online interaction that you have, you should strive to like leave, like the last impression is leaving the person with the good impression, making them feel good for their interaction with you, not making another person feel horrible with their interaction with you or feeling less, you know, lesser than they did when they first started interacting with you, not upsetting them, you know. And obviously there's a point where you might have to, you know, stand your ground, but do you try to edify others, or you try to cut other people down? What about calling names? I don't like calling names in my home. I try to really keep that out. That is not a classy thing to do, you know, call other people names. And I really try. I do not like it when my kids do it to each other. So I really get after them about that. Even with my kids, I don't call them names. And I'm really just trying to keep that type of speech out of my home completely. And then even with our speech, when it comes to gossip, gossip is not a very classy thing. Now, defining gossip is where you know something detrimental about another person and you're not involved at all. You just, maybe you heard it from someone else, or I'm not talking about stuff that's publicly out there. I'm talking about something that privately happened. You know, that's not public, and you know this bit of information about this person that has nothing to do with you, and you go and you just tell everyone blah 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 blah. I'm not talking about a situation that's involving you, something that happened to you and you're venting about it to your best friend, or you're telling your husband about it. That's not what I define gossip as. Gossip is something that you know about someone else that is not publicly known, that is a private, sensitive matter, and you go around and you tell everyone else about that. I do not find that classy at all. I try to really, unless I am directly involved, I try not to, or, you know, unless it's not something involving my husband, I try not to spread things around like that. So, oh, that's nice, Janello. She said, I was recently around an elderly man who was very polite and clean in his speech. And he said he was doing so because he was around a lady. I was impressed and felt very honored. There's one time my husband had a bunch of our little kids in some like fast food restaurant or something. And there was a bunch of old men sitting around and they were using really foul language. And I think he asked them to please stop because he had young kids with or something. I can't remember the story exactly right. I'll have to ask him about it. But, you know, there used to be a time when there was little kids around, you know, they were careful about what they were saying. So, but yeah, definitely with gossip, that is not a classy thing to be a gossip or known as a gossip. So I purposed as a young woman that I would be careful in my speech. It's a personal standard in my own life, and I'm praying that my kids follow it too. Speech is so important. And then, you know, some women struggle with this because they come from a background where, you know, this type of thing was not taught, and they themselves did it, but it can be overcome. You know, come up with ways to battle it, ask God for help, cut out movies that promote this type of behavior or the things that promote it, play godly music, play the Bible being read. You know, you can definitely overcome it. So try to be a light in a dark world. If you're in Walmart and maybe the cashier is just taking so long and you're in a hurry and the person in front of you is getting upset and they're being belligerent to the cashier and the cashier is getting flustered, you know, don't join in. on that, just tell the lady, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not in a hurry. Take your time. You're doing great. I've done that many times when I can tell that a worker somewhere is getting super frustrated or very overwhelmed. Sometimes, in fact, there was one time I was at Dunkin' Donuts. It was taking forever. I was in the drive-through, and the person in front of me was really rude to the girl. And when they drove off, when I drove up, she started crying. And I felt so bad for her. And I told her, I said, listen, it's okay. It's okay. Just, calm down, take your time. It's okay. I'm not in a hurry. You're doing great. And she's like, I'm all by myself. I had to lock the door so no one could walk in because I'm doing this all by myself. And I just started to recently, and I really don't know what I'm doing. So I felt so bad for her. So try to be that light, try to be different than, the world, and try to be a light and a testimony to people when you're out and about. And I think that's a very classy characteristic. But what about our mannerisms and behavior? So classy women, when I think of classy women, they're not loud, boisterous, or demanding all the attention in the room on them. You've seen the ones that show up at a place and everyone knows that they showed up, because suddenly, they're making their rounds or going around, making a big stew, being very loud, hugging everyone, laughing uproariously, just all eyes on the room are them. So I've often said I have a very outgoing personality, but those that know me know that in my the way I am in public interactions, I'm not loud about it. So I might be outgoing, but I prefer, more one-on-one conversation. I'm very talkative one-on-one, but I try not to be a very loud, boisterous person, especially with my laugh, because there can be women, you can hear them. We could be in this part of the building, not here at church. There's not really boisterous women here, but you've known them before where you've seen them. You can be in a different part of the building. You can hear, a woman just laughing, just crazy, and you know who it is. So I definitely think that classy women are more reserved. And I'm not talking about just changing your personality, completely, but you can learn to tone it down for sure. You can learn to tone it down. One thing that I've learned to tone down is thinking before speaking. I often put my foot in my mouth a lot in my younger years, and I've learned to think before I speak. I've also learned, no, it's not. That's okay, Sarah. Yeah, it's not related to the current conversation. I'm wondering what we were talking about though. But yeah, thinking before you speak, and then also being honest with people, but being gentle. You can be honest in a gentle way. You don't have to be harsh about it. There's some women that they do speak to women, or they have YouTube channels, and they just come across very, very, very harsh. And I don't want to come across that way to people. I definitely try to put myself in the shoes of anyone who asks me for advice, or someone that's going through a hard time. And a lot of things I can relate. I mean, I can relate to pregnancy problems. I can relate to postpartum depression. I can relate to miscarriage. I can relate to basically any type of delivery, because I've been through a lot. I've had 10 pregnancies and 8 living kids. So I've been through a lot. So I can relate to a lot of it, but I'd really try to put myself in their shoes. Have lines that you won't cross with others, such as if someone tells you no, just don't push them anymore. If someone, is you ask a question and they act hesitant and they don't want to answer, tell them, say, it's okay. You don't have to answer. I shouldn't have asked that. It's okay. I don't need to know. Just be sensitive of other people's feelings at the time. And so have some lines that you won't cross with others. And then also, oh, I see, Sarah. Okay. That's when we were talking about Roe versus Wade. She said part of the Roe versus Wade and the type of women that are less classy being the ones protesting it. This type of woman is purchasing these herbs in bulk. it's disgusting. That would not have even crossed my mind. And that is disgusting that they're doing that. I've seen that a lot of women are protesting and they're like, okay, I'm going to go get a tube of ligation. Who's with me? And I'm thinking, good, please do, because I can't imagine, first of all, if you do, that's going to stop you from trying to kill any of your upcoming pregnancies. And also, you won't be passing on your ideals to other people. So go for it. But classy women don't put down their husband in front of others. I've never been or felt more awkward than when I'm with someone and maybe in public and she's just berating her husband either to his face or berating her husband behind his back. That's super awkward. And I'm not talking about if there's something legitimate going on, such as abuse or a sin problem, and you're seeking counsel. That's not what I'm talking about. Please don't think that is. There are times when you do need to get counsel from your pastor, from your pastor's wife. Sometimes you need to go to the authorities if there's abuse going on. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the one who has a husband who he can't seem to do anything right. Oh, why did you get that type of bread? I don't want that type of bread. Or maybe you're in front of people and why did you do that? And why did you do this? And you're so dumb. And I can't believe, you did this, blah, blah, blah. So classy women don't put their husbands down in front of others. They try to make him look good. They try to encourage him, support him. I think that there has been many a good man who was really, his whole disposition and his whole spirit changes when he has a woman who just is so mean and nasty to him, especially to other people. And men really need the respect of their peers and the respect of the people that they interact with. And if their wife is constantly demeaning them or badgering them in front of people, talking about all his faults, then that really does a number to his just self-esteem. And, it's an awful thing to do to a man. I mean, it's an awful thing to do to a woman too. Obviously, we want to be praised and we don't want to be put down in front of other people, but especially a man. Men were built with the need to be respected. And that is why I believe God tells us that we need to honor and respect our husbands, because they have that innate desire to be well thought of by their peers and to be well thought of by their wife. So I really think it is damaging to a relationship when you are constantly belittling him, putting him down, especially in front of other people. And then also when, especially around even in front of your kids, you don't want to be, do you want your kids to listen to good old dad as they grow up? Then don't constantly be putting him down and rolling your eyes at him and complaining about, oh my goodness, your dad. Now I will sometimes do it in joking ways, such as when my husband gets hangry. All of my kids know that dad gets hangry at certain times. And so I'll kind of joke about that. But you know what else I'll do? I'll hurry up and get him his food. So because I'm trying to be a submissive wife and things. And so I'm not talking about never joking, but that's a fact, Jack. That is a funny name. Can you make a show about what it means to be a woman? With the attack on women today, we need solid teaching on this and upliftment. That is a good idea. Now that we suddenly know that there's women in the world, right? Because a couple months ago, no one knew what a woman was, but now we suddenly know with Roe versus Wade that we know what a woman is. So yeah, I do. And I think this whole subject kind of goes along with it a little bit as far as being a classy woman. But I guess, what does it mean to be a woman? And the roles that we have, the roles of a Christian woman, I guess, would be a good subject that I could go over. So thanks for the idea. Oh man, why is it, Chanello, that at the DMV you see the, I hate going to the DMV. We can do almost everything now for our vehicles on the website. And I would much prefer the website than going to the DMV, because I see a lot of stuff at the DMV. And most of the women that work at the DMV, they like to berate people too. My husband hates going there. So we like renew our stickers, online. We try to do everything we can online because it's such a horrible place to go. Yeah, and that's the thing, Sarah. I think we as women forget that we had a choice. I don't think anyone watching has an arranged marriage. I think most of us had a choice. We're the ones who said, yes, I'll marry you. We're the ones who fell in love. We are the ones who chose him. We are the ones who made our vows to him. So, we should be their biggest fan. We should be the one that respects them the most and the one that tries to sell them to others. I guess you would say sell them to others. We should be the ones rooting for our husbands. So classy women know when to defend others and when to ignore things as well. There have been times that I have spoken up, and I do not think that it is wrong for a woman to speak up when she needs to. I always try to do it in a way where it's not degrading, or I never use profanity or I try not to even call names. I don't like when people call names. That's just a policy that I have. So I try to do it in a respectful way, but there are times when I have called stuff out, and I don't think that means you're not classy. And even when you are defending others, it can be done in a classy way. I always strive to stay classy in my interactions. I try not to be like a mean girl. We all see the movies with the mean girls. I would never want to be that way. So, and one of the things that helps me, as I've said it so many times before, I always use my name behind my words. I don't have any anonymous accounts. When I say anonymous, yes, there's a real person behind the account. I mean, I don't have any accounts I leave comments on Facebook. It's always under Christina McMurtry. On YouTube, it's always under Cassie Ray McMurtry. On Twitter, it's always under Cassie Ray McMurtry. I always leave comments with my name backing those up to make sure that I stay classy. Because I've seen many of the comments that are left, even attacking us, attacking me, attacking my husband. They're always fake names. Those people never use their real names, and they're really nasty, not classy in any way, shape, or form. So in order to remain classy, I use my name as a way to make sure, as accountability, to keep me accountable for my words. So classy women realize the difference between going on the war path and speaking up when needing to defend their family. Even then, like I said, it can be said in a classy way. I don't believe it's wrong to defend your husband at times. There are many, many instances in the Bible where women defended their husbands. So, and most of these women were well spoken of, well thought of. I love the story of Abigail. She was very, very bold and brave, and tried protecting her husband, even though he was a bad man. So how much more when we're married to a good man, so I think, it's perfectly acceptable for that. Classy women forgive and don't get bitter. Classy women take their hurts and they bear them with grace. They learn to move on and just leave things behind. They don't let bad things that happen in their life consume them and define them. Classy women realize that everyone's going to be hurt, and hurt is no respecter of persons. And so instead of becoming a victim, they become victorious and they move on. They mourn the hurts when they come, but then they are able to just kind of set those aside and live life and enjoy every moment after that. So, let's see, that's, I know, right, Chanello? That's a fact, Jack said. I was listening to a show yesterday on YouTube from a male YouTuber who is not even a Christian, but even he said that outside of motherhood, there really isn't anything that can define what a woman is. And then I agreed with him. Well, outside of motherhood, yes, I agree, Chanello. Abigail is an amazing example of a godly, classy woman in the Bible. I agree. Yes, motherhood defines what a woman is, but Even the science shows that the difference between women and men is astronomical as far as just our hormones and the way our bodies are made up, and just everything sets us apart from men. So there's so much more that goes into it, but I guess I could do a show on that for sure. And classy women have hurts as well, but like I said, they don't let those hurts define them. They know how to move on. And then classy women look out for the needs of others. They're not self-centered. It's not a look at me, look at me, look at me type of mentality or a way to live. It's looking around, even at church. Who's sitting by themselves? Who needs a friend? Who needs someone to talk to? Who's having a bad day? Who needs help, maybe with one of their kids, or who needs help in the kitchen? Who needs help cleaning up? It's always looking out for the needs of others. They're not self-centered. They're not sitting around moping, thinking, I need all the attention, I need all the help, whatever. So I meant as far as our role in society. I'll definitely think about that. I think there can be a lot of components to it. I noticed when I was rewatching, sometimes I rewatch my videos just to see what I need to work on as far as speaking. I don't like saying a lot, even though I do sometimes still. I don't like stuttering a lot. I try not to repeat my words. I try to think as I'm saying, or just pause instead of saying, And one thing I noticed is a lot of times when I read the chat, it sounds like it's something I'm saying. So I need to kind of I need to say the name first and then say what's being written. So yes, that's a fact Jack said. I meant as far as our role in society. There will definitely be a lot of components that will go into that. I think I could do a talk like that. But let's talk about classy women and the home. This is my last section. Classy women, and my chair is like going lower and lower right now. Okay. Classy women keep an orderly, tidy home. No, Sarah. See, I'm reading something again. No, you were totally fine. You have a lot on your plate right now. And when you're in the throes of sickness and about to puke, you kind of need to think about yourself at that time. So classy women keep an orderly, tidy home. I just deep cleaned my room today. Look I'm like galore. All right, let me get this slower. Okay. It's not blocking my face. There we go. I literally deep cleaned my room today. I'm like, I'm going to be talking about this. I should probably be living it. No, I had something that has been bugging me for a long time. My room has been bugging me. And just since summer started, I've been so busy, doing camps and going to Ireland. And then we have another camp coming up this week. And then I'm going to my best friend's. And then we have another camp after that. And it's like nonstop. So I had to get to my room today and I spent 4 hours deep cleaning my room. So my ideal would be to like have everything perfectly organized. I'm not always that way though, because I have 8 kids. So, but I do strive to keep an orderly, tidy home. I think it says a lot, especially when you can invite guests over on the drop of a hat. You can have people over. I still remember when my husband was ordained, the preacher looking at me and telling me that I needed to keep a clean home so that we could have people over. And it was good advice. But at the time I had 3 little kids and I had 2 little kids. Did I have 2 or 3? I might've had 3. I think I might've had 3, 2 or 3. I either had Tommy and Jason or I had Tommy, Jason, Abby. I can't remember for sure, but it had been crazy because we were getting ready for his ordination. It was like an all-day thing because he was like questioned by these men for hours. And then he went in front of the church and was questioned for hours. And these men laid hands on him and prayed over him and ordained him. And then the preacher gave the ordination service. So it was such a mess in my home. So I went home and stayed up till midnight cleaning, because what if that old preacher man would have come over to my house and seen it the way it was? And I've never forgotten that. And it caused a lot of guilt as a younger bride until I learned that, sometimes it's going to be a little messy, but overall I strive to keep a clean home. Not so much, that it looks like it's been lived in. You got a few toys out, but a clean home. I don't want a nasty, smelly home. And I don't think that's classy at all. So, I definitely strive to, and I want to try to teach my daughters to as well. And I already have a couple, that are really taking up the ball. And it's one of the reasons I can have a clean home though. If you have little kids, this is not meant to guilt trip you, because when you have little kids, your house will be messy at times. I'm not talking about, like I said, toys out. I'm talking about just you haven't scrubbed your bathroom in 2 months. You have dirty clothes laying everywhere. The dog puked and you never clean that up, and it's 3 days later and it's stuck to the floor. That's what I'm talking about. So when you have younger kids, you're going to have a little bit more messy home, but it's definitely something you can get better at. There's different programs out there that you can follow, such as Fly Lady, I think. Motivated Moms is a really good one. Motivated Moms has a checklist on your phone. I haven't done it in a while because I have amazing kids that really help me a lot with the house. I don't need it anymore. But every day you have a different checklist of things that you do around the home. And that even includes dusting fans, cleaning out the fridge, washing the bathroom linens, washing the shower curtain, washing your sheets, washing your regular curtains. So it has all these things, and obviously those are only like once a month or once every other month or whatever. Sometimes the curtains for the house, that could be like once a year. But it's, find a program that can definitely help you get in a routine and help you, start checking off those chores. And a lot of times there is a problem with just maybe laziness. Maybe you're on your phone for 3 hours when you could have spent that 3 hours cleaning the bathrooms and mopping the floor. Definitely, when I was younger, especially, I didn't have a smartphone until just a few years ago, but we had the internet, we had the computer. So what I would do is I would get all my chores done first, and then I would have time for myself while I laid the kids down for a nap. And that would be on the computer. I really tried not to spend the entire day on the computer, just letting the house go to rot and then letting the kids just run amok. I really tried to even space my time then. And that was before I even had a smartphone. So, oh, that is a cute Instagram account. Sarah mentioned Clean Mama account on Instagram. And she has different days where she does different things as well. So, and I agree, Michelle, there is a difference between a home with kids and living like a slob. Yeah. And just a dirty, smelly home. There's a difference between that. So, and then Chanello said she uses the Fly Lady system. I tried that when I was younger for a while and it did work with me. I think the one I liked the best was Motivated Moms. I do think you have to pay for that app, but I found it helped me a lot. Like I said, now that I have older kids, I don't need anything like that on my phone. It pretty much gets done without any of that. So, but they are really good. And then even in the home, they season their speech with salt, which we kind of talked about, and all this stuff. Your kids are going to know. Your kids are going to know if you're classy or not. You can't fake this. They're going to know mom talks different at home than in church. So try to talk the same all the time. Try to talk the same in front of your kids. Try to talk the same in front of church members. Just try to talk the same all the time. And just remember, what you do in moderation, your kids will do in excess. So that's even why I have a problem even with like the smaller words, because if I say those, then my kids are going to take it further than me. So I might just use the euphemism for those words, but then my kids are going to use the actual words. And if I use the actual words, then my kids are going to use the worst ones that are out there, whatever they may be. So, definitely try to do that at home. And Rachel, a lot of times, Rachel said, I have a visual checklist that hanging up. So I see it multiple times a day. I've tried like even chore charts and stuff for my kids, and I stink at them. They don't work for me, but some people they do. So, and she said, if you do a little bit every day, it helps so much to stay on top of the house and laundry. Yes. And when I was younger, before I had help with the laundry, I really just strove to do 1 load a day. And that pretty much kept me caught up. Now, as my kids got older and went through more laundry, I was up to about 2 loads a day. I would usually have like all the towels and those type of things, towels and jeans. And then I would have like another load of just the clothes. I might've gotten up to 3 loads. We might be up to 3 loads a day right now with 10 people, 2 or 3 loads, but it's so much easier doing that per day than having to do 10 loads in one day. That's overwhelming. So, hey, from Florida. Hello. Yes. And Beth, all of our kids have different chores that they're required to do. And like I was talking about a couple weeks ago, I'm kind of glad we got the chickens because now Allie and Lana, they're responsible. They get the chicken chores. And I think it really helps to breed a sense of helping out and accomplishment when they have these chores that they're doing all the time. And then, let's see, classy women create a home of peace for their husband and kids. Obviously, you're going to have stressful days, but overall, you want to try to have a peaceful home. They're not brawling women. They're not like the women that are protesting, that are trying to engage and spit in people's face and punch them and, throw bricks or, they're not like that. Brawling women are actually very, very physical women that will get into physical altercations with people. That is the direct opposite of being classy. So they have manners and they teach their kids manners. Please, thank you. That's a very classy thing that's missing in our society today. It's very, very rarely heard. So that is something that is still important, I think, to teach your kids. Please, thank you. My kids don't say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, every single time. We kind of have this thing where if we're being it's a very serious thing. So if we're very, very serious with them, we'll say, do you understand me? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, that's when they say the yes, ma'am, is when we're being more serious with them. So, as far as that, I don't go that far in my home, but I do want them to learn manners and how to respond to others and things like that. Classy women teach your girls to be girly and their boys to be manly. They put distinction between the sexes. You're a boy, you do manly things. You're a girl, you do girly things. And that's what we do in our house still. We recognize gender. So they see their husband as the king of his domain, and they are his helpmeet. I'm still traditional. I'm a traditional wife. I still believe in that. And I still think it's classy to act that way. And then they're the same at home as in public. Kind of mentioned that already. And then lastly, but not least, I think the sign of a classy woman, I keep saying women. I think the sign of a classy woman is that she has self-control. And this kind of ties into everything we talked about. She has self-control, with her appearance. That could come with the panic weight and all that. She has self-control with her speech. She has self-control with the way she treats others. She has self-control with the way she talks about her husband. She has self-control in the way that she is at home. So I think that just all ties into being a classy woman. If you notice the women that we were talking about at the beginning, that is what they exhibit in every form. They exhibit lack of self-control when it comes to their feelings, which are they're being told to panic about this, and they are. And they have no control over that. They have no control over their rage. They have no control over their mouth. They're just spewing forth everything that's within them. So that is definitely a sign of, I think a sign of a classy woman is how much control she has over all these areas. And a sign of someone who has no class is that they have no self-control in all these areas and aspects of life. So I hope that was a help. And then Chanello said, in today's world where everyone has to say what's on their mind, I'm also teaching my kids to think, THINK. And this is really good. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring or important? Is it necessary? And is it kind? That's a very good acronym to remember that with. So I like that. So think, true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, or kind. That's very, very cute. I definitely will try to use that with my kids, especially the next time they're in a knockout, drag out fight. That'd be good. When they're fighting with each other and saying unkind things, that's a really good thing to tell them. So thanks for that. All right, guys. Well, I think, like I said, I might take next week off just because it is 4th of July. And we will be, we have a busy week coming up again. We got the Boyles coming in, the Boyle family coming in this week. They're driving through the night. They'll be here tomorrow. Then we have family camp Thursday through Saturday, we're going with them. And then Pastor Roy will be preaching all day Sunday. And then we'll be going with the Boyles over to a family from church that comes here when they live in Illinois. We're going over to their house all day for Monday. So it's going to be a busy week. So we might take next Monday off, and then I'm going to try to get a guest here for the following week. I don't know about what yet, but I will definitely try to get a guest. Ashley's been after me to get a couple more on that I've had. So if you guys have any requests for guests I've had in the past, please leave them in the chat below. I've noticed at least 10 of you have given a thumbs up. So if you're watching right now, go ahead and give a thumbs up, leave a comment. That always helps the algorithm get it out there more. So I hope you have a blessed week, and we'll probably see you 2 weeks from now. So